So having that set up, if there was any tax losses remaining year, then we will set this as a years. So that's exactly how this will appear. So we can say that we can go Alt H L for conditional formatting and then N for new rule. And then we take the use of formula to determine which cells to format. And here we will just set this cell here to be equal to if it's equal to 1, then we want it to, so if it's equal to yes, then we want it to be, we want to raise this flag. So we want it to be that color there. And then for the font, we will set it to be white font. So if ever there is, and then we can click OK. So in this case, if ever say there was a remaining balance here of roughly, you can just override this and just say, let's say there was a balance of $2 million there. You could say that we have it here as a yes, so there are unused tax losses remaining. We have the flag there, and we have the font thinking of that amount there. We can go back and we undo that. So it's very, very important in modeling. So now, having this set up, we can now go to our income schedule. We can go to the income statement, and we reference the accounting depreciation and the current and the deferred taxes. So in this case, the accounting depreciation, we calculated it here. We reference that there. We can copy Alt ESF with business formulas to keep the formatting in place. And then for the current and deferred taxes, which we calculated down, we can also reference that. So in this case, the current taxes is going to be this amount here. We can copy business formulas. We can copy Alt ESF. So as you can see, this impacts net income going forward. So up to this point in time, we have modeled our income statement. We have modeled part of our supporting schedules. We are left with a complex debt schedule. We have modeled the accounting depreciation. We have modeled the working capital section, the assets schedule. We have modeled the income taxes. And now we are now ready to begin our transaction section of modeling. So we want to now account for how much this company is going to be borrowing from its investors. So how much bonds this company they're going to be issuing to different classes of investors. So we have our EBITDA for valuation purposes, which we consider to be a normalized EBITDA. So we will just use this as our normalized EBITDA for valuation purposes. And then we will make some adjustments to those in this transaction section. So let us begin modeling our transaction section of this model. So it's going to be equal to, for the enterprise value, we want to simulate the enterprise value of this entire company. It's going to be, we will reference the entry EV to EBITDA. And then for valuation purposes, we have the 2022 EBITDA for valuation purposes. We have to go back to the model. We make sure that we are referencing the 2022 before the transaction took place. So that's the EBITDA, the earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. So we believe that this is a normalized EBITDA. So we can now go by taking entry EV to EBITDA multiple, and then we multiply it by our EBITDA for valuation purposes. We have it set up there for us, roughly $184 million. So in that case, now we will now use this amount to drive our sources and uses of cash. So in order to do that, we will have to reference first of all here we will have to reference what we believe this company will be borrowing. So in this case, they'll be borrowing roughly 0.25 times for the line of credit, 2.5 times for term loan 1, 2.5 times, approximately 2 times for term loan 2, and the subordinated debt, which might contain a payment credit interest. We also have to model it by they'll be borrowing roughly 1.5 times of the EBITDA for valuation purposes. So this is how much this company will be borrowing, or they are exposed to as a covenant. So in this case, they will be borrowing roughly 0.25 times for the revolving line of credit. We're gonna take this number and then we multiply it by our EBITDA for valuation purposes there. Let's say we F4. We can copy this all the way to our subordinated debt, or ESF, to keep the formatting in place. As you can see, they are borrowing roughly $45 million for term loan 1, $36 million for term loan 2, and subordinated debt, they are borrowing roughly $27 million. So this is how much they're borrowing as